Hello and welcome to Channels Sports on Sunday on Channels Television. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. On the show today, of course, we'll be focusing on the FIFA World Cup. The Giants have gone home. Yeah, not going home. The Giants have gone home. I'm talking about the likes of Uruguay, Germany. I mean, these countries have crashed out. Even Belgium, Denmark, they're all out of the FIFA World Cup. Of course, tonight, Senegal will see what they can do against England because it's been a World Cup of upsets, unusual World Cup, you would say, because of the result we've been having. No team were able to have a 100% record all through the group stage. Spain tried it. Portugal did the same, and even Brazil, they couldn't because Cameroon ensured that, yes, Brazil will also not have a 100% record at the group stage. Yes, 2 African countries are in the round of 16. I can't remember the last time that really happened. And this year, I mean, Ken is going to give you a breakdown because, I mean, there's actually a big fish in the studio today. Also, we'll talk about the National Sport Festival, which is currently going on in Delta State. Is day 4, and of course, records have started falling. Also, we'll touch down on the NOC election, that's Nigerian Olympic Committee election, and we'll also talk about development of volleyball in Nigeria. There's so much to talk about on the show today. Okay, time to take a look at the guests in the studio. There's Theophilus Agmalao in the studio. There's also, well, you know him, he's back.
This is so weird.
I mean, just look at the system arrangement. Ken, you're supposed to be here.
Yeah, you guys are having fun in this. Let me just share. Let me just help you guys and share in this fun. I tell you, it's so cool being here, and then I enjoyed you guys every minute of the show, and I couldn't wait to come back. Couldn't wait to come back.
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah. Good to have you. Next Sunday you're going to be here. All right, okay, let's start off with boxing, of course. What happened last night? Tyson Fury, Derek Chisora, there was really not much, to talk about build up to the game. It's a trilogy. People are already tired of, okay, Tyson Fury, yeah, he just needed to fight someone, and then the fight had to happen. Ken, I'll go with you first. I mean, you watched the fight because Theo was saying, oh, come on, that fight, I wasn't really interested. But Ken, you watched the show, and people were actually saying, was it really a fight? Or maybe it was a friendly bout?
It was a fight. For everything you can talk about it was a fight. There is this personal relationship between Chisora and and Fury, and even during the fight, friends. Yes, when the commentator Rompu was saying, how did they keep their friendship away and hit themselves? But if they were hitting themselves, it was like a one-way traffic. Because from the very first round, up there, it was just Fury. And by 6, 7, 8 round, it was, look, when will he going to take him out? And then it was the endurance of Chisora. Oh, he's taking, so much punishment. He is brave. He has a heart. Because one, he was just swinging punches. He was not hitting. He was not hitting Fury. His best punches were going to the to the tummy, lower abdomen of Tyson Fury. So Fury was never hurt. He was never touched.
He was having fun. That's why I say he was having fun.
But credit to Fury. He said, look, the fight is supposed to be a hard sell. But you have about 60,000 fans right there at the O2. I mean, cheering. So if you can, bring that in, 60,000 fans coming in, you can tell me that, man, this guy is a power. So for the fight, I think it was, like we said, it was a makeshift. He was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua. He was giving all those ultimatums. He was giving all those things. And then with Fury, you don't know what he's going to do next.
Yes.
Tomorrow he might tell, I want to fight this guy. Even there, Alexander Usyk came in after the fight, and then he talked to him. Then Joe Joyce came in. He said Joe Joyce was going to fight. So we don't know what is going to happen. They just keep everybody in suspense. But the thing is that they went there. It was a trilogy. He has done trilogy with Chisora. He has done trilogy with Wilder. So let's know what he's going to do. He might retire. He might retire tomorrow. Yeah. And come back the day after.
I was going to ask, is he retired or not? Because
no, he's not retired. He's not retired. Whenever he's got the belt. Whenever there's a fight, he will always definitely want to come out.
He did some talking. I saw the post-fight and everything yesterday. Or I didn't want to fight. But he did some, he didn't talk to Alexander Usyk. It was more trash talking.
Yes.
It wasn't just talking. You know, calling him out and all of that. And what even stood out for me was when he said that he already fought one Ukrainian. Now talking about
Klitschko, yes.
That he doesn't mind putting him down, probably stoking the waters and all of that. But then again, you really cannot take it away from the fact that my own opinion is to just a payday for both of them. That's basically how it's like, okay, you know what? Because the ultimatums of Joshua were just so much, throwing different conditions.
24 hours to sign.
Left and right, and then it didn't really make sense at the time.
You sign the contract, and somebody has to read every clause, every comma, every whatever it is.
And then you're saying,
you know the details.
So you first of all, you say the guy said he needed 6 weeks, 8 weeks. You say no, 6 weeks enough. He came back, to whatever. You say you want to fight. He came back to all your conditions. Okay, give me time to consider. You now say no, you must sign. You must get a deadline to sign.
I think maybe I don't know. I think maybe Fury just wants to maintain that his unbeaten record. I mean, if you check, he hasn't lost a fight. He's 34. Maybe he's looking at retiring at 35 because Chisora is 38. I mean, he has lost 4 of his last 5. His last 5 fights. I'm like, why is he still fighting? Why not just relax? I mean, 46 fights, 13 losses. I mean, that's huge for someone like Derek Chisora, and for him to also always want to fight. And you ask yourself, why does that always happen? And this one, as Ken mentioned earlier, it was more like a mismatch. Yes, it was a full stadium. The Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 59,769 people in attendance. Yeah, it was filled up. That Tottenham Stadium, we know how big it is. So for it to be filled up with...
So he sold out.
It was a sold-out fight, yes. And of course, payday for both. But for me, can Derek Chisora just stop fighting? He's 38 already.
Stop fighting?
Yes, losing 4 of his last 5 fights.
Chisora is not fighting. He's walking.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, all right. Answer that. Okay, that's the idea. Okay, let's listen to Tyson Fury. Ken mentioned earlier that we don't know what he's up to next because he might say he wants to fight Usyk and the next thing he's saying Jojo. I mean, let's see who he really wants to fight next. But let's hear from him first.
Chisora, because he's an absolute warrior and he took a lot of heavy punches. Maybe they left him in too long, but I was very happy when the referee stopped it. He took enough, you know what I mean? He was tired and shipping a lot of heavy blows, and we're not in there to do serious damage to each other. It's a boxing match, and I was happy to see it finished. So yeah, big shout out to Derek Chisora as well. When I was in the ring, it was freezing. But then when I got fighting a few rounds in, you don't really feel the cold. The adrenaline's pumping, and it was I didn't feel cold. There was a little bit where I was like, oh, I'm scuttled Derek, I'm freezing. But apart from that, it was all good. Well, we're going to see the biggest year of, hopefully, my career. 2023, we're going to get them big fights that the fans really crave. First of all, let's talk about Usyk, because now I can. Before, everyone wants to ask me a million questions about Usyk when I've got Chisora to beat. And as we see tonight, Chisora's no easy pushover for anybody. So yeah, I'm ready, I'm willing to take on Usyk next. Sometimes the big fights sometimes don't happen for whatever reason. But I've got a good feeling this one's going to happen. But if it doesn't for X, Y or Z reasons, then we'll have Joe Joyce at Wembley next year as well. But providing the Usyk one does happen, then I'll do him and then I'll have Joe Joyce as well at Wembley. Why not?
Why not? Joyce, of course, is waiting in the wings. And for Derek Chisora, after that fight, he had to thank Tyson Fury for that. Now, Ken, you saw the face. I mean, I was looking at the clean face, so clean. It doesn't look like someone...
He didn't touch his face.
He didn't break it. He didn't break his sweat.
He thanked him and said, thank you, Tyson. I really appreciate that. We are friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that was from Derek Chisora after the fight.
That they were able to sell the fight. That's the most important.
You actually said something. He's walking.
He's walking. It's payday.
He collected a lot.
From the whole thing, what touched me the most was when Fury was talking to Usyk and he made mention of the fact that in his last fight, he fought a bodybuilder.
Yes.
Who was he calling a bodybuilder?
We know. The other trilogy.
the other fight, some of them look at Tony Joshua and said he has this build and he's not actually a boxer. The way he came in, he started boxing quite late in life. Yeah. He didn't take to boxing like when Usyk and so fought.
Like started so early.
So to him, it is all muscle, all power, and go over there, hit the guy, knock him out. And so they said, there are boxers, there are ballers, there are hitters, there are punchers. So boxing is, you categorize based on the kind of qualities that those boxers bring into the room square when they go in to do it one-on-one. So to him, he believes Anthony Joshua is not a boxer. Okay. But if he's not a boxer, forget all those conditions that are given. Get into the ring and see if you can get hit.
Exactly.
Simple. Because the height difference between himself, height and reach difference between himself and Chisora means he's fighting safe. You understand? I think mostly we put too much emphasis on the weight categories of boxers. I think that they should also be considering their height and put every in consideration. Yeah. Because if the guy cannot, no matter he has to jump, he
touch you, he can't beat you now.
How can he knock you down? I mean, he was going for just body punch.
That's where his body could get, his hands could get it.
I mean, I think to me, if you say this is a fight, I think it was already, I don't want to say it's a mismatch, it's a misheight. Or whatever. Or he misreached, and that was all the thing. So he knew as long as he can keep Chisora at bay with his reach, there is no way he was going to get hurt.
I wish boxing can be this clean, very clean, without having the bloody face. All right, let's talk about the National Sport Festival, where there is a world record holder right now. I mean, Esther Nwogu of Delta State, we know her, especially they just concluded the Powerlifting African Championships in Cairo in Egypt, where she actually surpassed a particular record in 41 kg. At the National Sport Festival, she has been able to, of course, in the 41 category, she surpassed her previous world record to win gold when she lifted 115 kg. You will see that's a powerful one coming from Esther Nwogu. Now, Esther Nwogu happens to be someone, I mean, she was in Delta, she was in Abuja 2018. Yeah. She won silver. She was at the National Sports Festival in Edo. I saw her. She won silver also. And this time around in Delta State, winning a gold medal. I mean, and also breaking our record that she set in Egypt earlier in the year.
It's not by gold medal now.
It's the money that comes in it.
I think basically this should set the tone. Yeah. To me, what are the objectives of the National Sport Festival? At a point, people say, okay, fine, you look at the end of the day, you want to look at the medals table. In the last 6, 7 editions, it has been Delta, 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 Delta. I mean, so, but the thing is, I think when they go back, probably the state governor was okay, fine. For every gold medalist, you take 5 million, 3 million for silver and stuff like that. You reward them. I was okay, this is what we're giving them. But for Nigeria as a country, what is the main objective of the National Sport Festival? We're talking about this breaking of records. Yeah. That is where, I think a body, because the body is always put on the state. Of course, part of the objectives is for the states to have facilities. You know, so that if you want to host, you put these facilities in place, so that after the games, your citizens from that state can have where they can go and get these things done. But then, how many facilities you want to spread around a state within that particular period? I think probably in this one in Delta State are doing, because they spread it out in some events. I think it's in Asabas and most of the universities they spread it all around, which means because those facilities are all there. So we are not. To me, the thing is this. I think the National Sports Sport Commission and then the body that kind of manages the National Sports Festival should do it in such a way that athletes that break African and world records, putting us there at the world map, should have a special award or reward, monetary reward to them. So that I think that should be the focus of it, because this is from where I want to get athletes who are going to represent Nigeria. Are you getting it? Yes. So if the National Sport Festival is the venue, from where you want to pick athletes that go international, then the focus will be how many world records, how many African records are we breaking? Not even national records. So when you do that, then you say, okay, fine, for every world record breaking, maybe you have 5 million. For every African record, we maybe have 3 million.
Yeah.
So that should be the incentive. They're not poaching from state to state. This year somebody represent this state, and that year to represent another state, and then at the medal you want to show your governor that my governor we have not done well. Look at where we were. We were 13th before. Now we are 10th. We have climbed. But at what benefit to the Nigerian nation? At what benefit? This is the world athletes that we are producing. We should be ruling the world in any sport at all that we want to that will have a comparative advantage on.
Yeah.
In this, what she has just done will be ruling the world. When you go to the Olympics, you go to anywhere, you will see the Nigerian name there among the top 3. I mean, it's a consistent thing.
Yeah, that's one thing about this power lifters. They are always delivering. All right, let's leave Esther and quickly touch down on other issues coming up in Delta State, especially concerning how many athletes are competing. According to the Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniagui, says about 12,000. That's what they have now. But other athletes are still coming in. And also complaints from some athletes concerning water. I said these are the things that's why they have team commandants who can actually take charge of that when they are having issues. They have someone they can go to, and that person will definitely be the one to fix all the problems they're facing. Let's listen to the Commissioner for Information on Delta State, Charles Aniagui, talking about latest developments concerning the festival.
We've gotten as much as 12,000 athletes that are taking part from across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. And we are quite hopeful, given the ambience and the fanfare that characterize the opening ceremonies. If there is anybody who is a little hesitant about wanting to come and participate, I am sure that the euphoria that characterizes that opening formalities is enough to shake off that reluctance and possibly want to come and showcase their talents, which means many more persons may still come in. For every of the challenges, once we know, we already have men that we call camp commandants. What happens sometimes is that you have persons who are living or staying in a particular hostel or accommodation. It turns on the water, for instance, it doesn't come on. If you turn on the water and it doesn't come on, the first thing that you need to do is not to go and tell journalists that your water is not running. Because the pressman is not the one to make that water run. The first thing is to be able to tell your camp commandant, I am having this challenge. So if he fixes it, you don't have any business now progressing to the pressman. Because when you tell the pressman, it means you are not looking for that challenge to be solved. Rather, you are just looking for another thing. It is only if by the time you complain to your camp commandant and the thing persists that you cannot begin to think of how to escalate the challenge. We have made it clear, every state knows that they have a camp commandant that is positioned to address whatever challenge that may arise. And let us be very, very clear. Even in our homes, there are sometimes you finish building your house, the electricity and everything is functional, and 2 days after, you turn on a particular bulb, you discover that it's dead. That does not mean you did not put that bulb. What it caused you to do at that moment is that you now go and you change that bulb.
Right, when any state, when they're having issues, they know who to go to. The camp commandants will be able to solve most of the issues. Well, the data 2022 is ongoing National Sport Festival. Obviously, we'll be bringing you updates of different events that are going on. It's day 4. Basketball events have started. The football event also. Just yesterday, have Kaduna Lagos in action. Lagos beating Kaduna by 2-0. Yes, Lagos, when it comes to basketball and football, their team to beat. But swimming, of course, is started already, and you know the state will be raking in most of the goals. Let's leave Sports Festival now and quickly touch down. Okay, can you have anything to add concerning Sports Festival?
No, it's okay. We are building up, like I said. The focus should be on what will Nigeria benefit from the National Sport Festival.
Generally.
Anywhere that is being hosted, the quality of athletes, the quality of facilities, facilitators, and so that is what we should be focusing on.
Right.
And then, like we said, the benefit, give them a target, break the world record, and collect 10 million.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Let's quickly talk about this one. The NOC election is coming up on the 15th of this month, and of course, there have been talks about when Habub Gumela has been there for a very long time. It's going to be open to everyone. But if you look at the constitution of most of these most of these federations, usually like a cult. I mean, that's how people describe it, because you have certain people that can actually contest. There are some that cannot even, contest for the election. So usually is a difficult one. But Abu Bume, of course, I mean, he's been there for a long time. So we're going to take a look at his last 8 years. I mean, the achievements concerning the Olympics, even home front and at international level. I mean, he's 74 years old now. Usually these federations can have a president for life, especially when they don't have like a competitor that will take over the mantle of leadership. And the question I'm going to throw to the House, I mean, Phil, let me come to you first. We're going to look at his achievements over the last years. I mean, he's been there for a very long time. I mean, what has it been like for him?
Well, looking at our sports, basically, looking at how far we've come, we talked about the last 8 years, it's been mixed for me, if you ask me. And then, 74, coming up again, really, I think I feel it's time to move on. Personally, if you ask me, I think it's time to move on. Let other people come into it. Okay, multiple times on this show, we talked about the fact that you look at the criteria that even make you eligible to even contest in the first place. And like you just said, it looked like a close-circuited thing. Like if you just said within a very, very few set of people. I, for one, believe that I think it's time to move on. And let's see how we can get everybody into the system to do more.
Yeah. Second, what do you think?
The IOC,
yes,
FIFA, they are all like a cult thing.
Like a fraternity.
A fraternity. It is within. If they want to remove it, is within themselves. They fight among themselves. But when they want an outsider wants to come in, they shield you there. So once you are there, you are there. Unless you do something else, you violate the system, or you want to become too ambitious. Just like in football, they all know your. I'm trying to get the right word for it. So what the things that you have done at the back, which they are holding in store for you. So the day you want to rear your head, they will just show you your report card. Guy, you say that is it. So and then you move out of there. So basically, he will be there until when he says he doesn't want to go again, because they will go by elections. And let me tell you, when FIFA comes in and Nigeria said they want to remove the NFF president, whatever, FIFA rules. The IOC is worse than FIFA. They don't want to. They will just suspend you. They will just suspend. Look at federation. They will just suspend and say you are not doing that. Look at the athletic federation. They will have Nigeria. But they will tell you to go away. We don't need you. So basically, when you are there, you are there. And then the same thing with the NOC. That they're already here in Nigeria, the same persons who are going to vote, they know the people who are going to, who are in the federation. So until the guy says, I'm tired, that is when he's going to walk away. And there is nothing the ministry can do about it. There is nothing the government can do about it.
He's 74 now, and even in IOC, he can no longer vote because he's above 70 years old. When he's above, you can't vote. And we don't have a
member of the IOC.
Okay, but we don't have a member when it comes to the IOC. Well, the election is on the 15th, so we'll still have more time to talk about the NOC election once it's very close. But let's take a look at this report concerning development of volleyball in Nigeria. Remember, he was, when it comes to volleyball in Nigeria, was one, he was there, but development wasn't really there until Musa Nimrod came in, and right now it's growing in the country.
Volleyball is a game played by two teams of 6 players and a side in which the players use their hands to hit the ball back and forth over a high net. In Nigeria, development of the volleyball dates back to over 50 years. Military and paramilitary clubs and the state-owned clubs remain the major feature in the sport. The presence of organized leagues in Nigeria seems not enough following the rise of privately owned clubs in the last 5 years. This increases demand for more competitions to keep the players in competitive stead.
From the beginning of last year to this year, we have players that have actually been going out to play competition outside. I'm actually a beneficiary of one because I just came back from the World Championship. I think with more support from the Nigeria Volleyball Federation and some other top bodies, I think volleyball can actually go a long way in this country.
The more they play competition, the more the players and players comes up, the more have a spring and pool of players that are development. So I also use this medium to appeal to other stakeholders to join hands and have more competition in Nigeria so that we can have more players and can have volleyball growth in Nigeria.
Enthusiasts make a strong case for the involvement of schools in the development of volleyball in the country.
Those are the areas where some of our big players in all sports are being discovered. But what's happening, not only in volleyball these days, no. They want to play the championship and travel, no. If they're doing that, that means we will not discover hidden talent. Because school sports discovers talents from the grassroots.
The government are investing massively in volleyball. Not like that in Nigeria, if not for football. Do you know how much they are investing in football? Let them take divided by 3. I mean, 3/4 of whatever they are investing in football. Let them bring it to volleyball and see what volleyball will be in the next 5 years.
However, the Nigeria Volleyball Federation reaffirms its commitment to improving the game. Nevertheless, lovers of the game insist that adequate attention should be given to budding talent so Nigeria can gain ascendancy in the sport.
I think once we got the first goal, it was pretty exciting. But at the end of the day, Argentina was the better team, but Australia gave it a really good go, and I think we should be really proud of our effort.
In a way, I'm a bit disappointed about the results because we really looked like we could have won it. The boys done extremely well. I mean, they made all Aussies proud. We really wish that, you know what, we were the underdogs almost every game, and to come out that far is really excellent.
All right, fans, fans from Australia, of course, proud in defeats. They're proud of their team. It's not every time you play against Argentina with Messi and you lose just 2-1. So that's why the fans are really proud of what the Australians have done. The last time they were in the round of 16, or the only time, was in 2006. That's why they're really excited about the game. It's hard for you to see a team after losing and they're happy. Even some of the fans had to go meet Messi, just exchanging just happy that, okay, they were even able to play. Well, one of the greatest in the world. All right, quickly, let's talk about the Argentine game, of course. That game ended 2-1. After that, we'll have Sunday Lise joining us from Qatar. He's a member of the FIFA Technical Study Group. And, of course, former Super Eagles coach and also former Super Eagles captain. He's wearing so many caps. But then let's quickly talk about the game between Australia and Argentina.
Well, I was going to ask, who has finally scored a goal in the knockout stages of the World Cup?
Yeah. I mean, when Ken brought that statistics, I'm like...
It blew you away.
It was like...
I know, right?
You can't even remember. Because you know how great these players are.
And it took him 5 tries. But then again, Lionel Messi opened the scoring against Australia yesterday to a well-taken goal. And then I think we are beginning to see that Argentine team that the whole world watched before the World Cup. The team that had not lost a match in nearly 3 years, or they have 36 games, So we are looking at them. I was really impressed. And then there's something the coach did that has impressed me even more. He dropped Lautaro Martinez, and then he's brought on Julian Alvarez. And so far, so good. He's been reaping the rewards. Alvarez got a goal in his first start. He got a goal again yesterday. And after he took him off, about 2 chances that Martinez came on and he squandered. I was like, okay, what is going on? He just gave me
Lukaku.
Lukaku. He gave me these chills of 2014 when Argentina played Germany, and then the chances that Gonzalo Higuain, threw away. And even back then, back home in Argentina, he's coming under a lot of backlash because the whole country is really. They're coming down on him. Yep. But then again, it was Lionel Messi's show yesterday. Basically, it's his world. They're just living in it. And the Australians saw how little it could be firsthand yesterday. And even though they lost and they're going back home, I think they're still proud in defeat. Because like you put it, they are playing not against one of the best. I think he's the greatest to ever play the game.
Okay.
Let him win the World Cup first.
God bless him, because he has so 3 times.
Yeah,
you know what that means?
The king is still there.
3 times.
And then our heart goes out to him right now. He's battling for his life. The whole world is praying for him. The players, all the great players are praying. They're saying, you can overcome this.
So just wait after this World Cup.
Yeah, just wait until maybe Messi wins it.
Exactly. So you can officially hand over.
All right, Ken, a quick one on the Argentine players. I mean, he talked about Lautaro Martinez. I noticed that. I felt, if he's not ready to take his chances, why play him even?
No, you see, when you say he's not ready to take his chances, sometimes things don't just turn out for you.
Sometimes? Remember the first game? Sometimes? Is it sometimes?
I'm saying this tournament is, you can take this tournament as a tournament. You understand?
Okay. That's sometimes. It doesn't mean if it's 2-3 games.
No, of course. It doesn't mean, he might not be having a good tournament. You understand? And that is just the thing. Sometimes, you just, everything you touch is turned to goal. So there's something, maybe sometimes either it is a goal or a goal. Everything you touch, either it is you kick or with your hand.
But Ken, if you ask me, I've lived long enough to say a couple of things that the way you play in your national team can basically determine how you be looked at for the rest of your life in your country.
Usually.
Ken, see, you really cannot afford to, you really cannot afford to make mistakes because at this stage.
He wasn't coming back from injury. He's doing a Lukaku. We understand Lukaku's state.
Yeah.
He was injured. He was patched to actually play at this World Cup.
Coaches have players that they have that confidence in.
Until they don't have it anymore.
We are seeing Harry Maguire. We are seeing a lot of coaches that they're bringing in. We are seeing Batshuayi. So the coaches have, you might think they are not up there, but because this is the person that can do this job for me. Okay. And then so when that thing is happened, allow it to happen. It doesn't really matter if it wasn't in form, because they say, look, your fitness and form coming to this. He's been on fire in Serie A.
I remember the game against Barcelona.
So it is not by sentiment that they picked him. He he merited being, in the team.
But my own is that he shouldn't cost Messi the World Cup.
Thank you. That's what
he shouldn't cost.
Higuain has done it.
Exactly.
Let's ask the expert.
Of course, the expert is joining us on the program on the way from Doha in Qatar, talking about Sunday. Olise, he was right here before the World Cup started. We'll talk about the African teams and the African coaches. And the good news is, when I mean good news, for the first time in a long while, I can't remember the last time we actually have African countries, all of them winning matches, at the World Cup. He will join us much later on the program. While we're waiting for him to join us, let's take a listen to the fans who have to travel all over the world to have Messi. When I mean Messi, they created a stand for him, and that's more like where they worship him, because that's where they watch the Argentine games. Because of Messi, most of these fans who their countries didn't qualify for the World Cup, so they are supporters of Messi, and as a result, they have to support Argentina to win the World Cup. I mean, what they had to do, where they had to open their fans, just because of one player. And I ask myself, how many players can actually command this kind of respect? Pakistanis, the Indians, different people across the world just coming to Qatar. Why? What's the reason to come see Messi?
Just look at, for instance, go on social media, Instagram, for instance. Cristiano Ronaldo has 500 million followers.
That's the most followed player in the world.
Not just player, the most followed person in the world. And this cuts across every other industry. We're talking about arts, entertainment, football, and obviously in sports, we have basketball and all of them. He is more popular than every single athlete on the planet. So you really would not be surprised when the man that he competes against will be giving this kind of treatment, even by people that might never meet him in their lifetime. And it's gone beyond just watching them play. It become like a way of life. For some people that watch Lionel Messi, I know people that fell in love with the game all over again just watching Messi play. Okay. Oh, I never watched Diego Maradona play because I was quite young. But when people talk about Maradona, then they look at Messi and say, yes, this guy is basically a replica of what they have seen the great man do, or the great one do before now. I mean, don't. And I know how a lot of people worship and revere Diego Maradona. Even great players during his time. Michel Platini once said, what he would do with a ball, Diego Maradona would do with an egg. And you hear Gary Lineker talk so glowingly about Diego Armando Maradona. And you guys, that's why you see, even Lionel Messi, he has players as fans, fully positions like himself. Look up to him, let alone the fans. Come.
Because Messi is a player whom we have seen from the time we were a kid. Okay, so when the World Cup was announced, I was studying in my school, and that was the time we were waiting for 12 years. Okay, Qatar World Cup is going to happen, and that's going to be the last World Cup of Messi. So we were really excited and happy to see him finally. I went to the stadium and saw him in it was a golden opportunity for all of us. From the time we were growing up, we were seeing him play, and that's how we started loving football. So for us, Messi means football. So it's more than like a person or a team. It's a feeling for all of us.
Because he's the god of football. That's the only answer for it.
Messi, the king, the god. I love Messi.
Zero. No, it's their total game, the way they play football. That's what we attract most. You can see huge in our Kerala. There are two divisions. One will be Brazil and one will be Argentina. It's mostly we can say 50-50%. And apart from that, they have now, they support Portugal because of Cristiano Ronaldo, and they have few more. But most we like their game, both Latin American game. The style of their play, both Argentina as well as Brazil.
I was happy, I was shocked. Yeah. Very excited. I was screaming my heart out when Messi scored tonight. I was very happy. I can't explain the feeling. So happy.
When a player is a cult hero, that's what happened, especially when you have opportunity to see him. Even if you can't get a ticket to get into the stadium to watch him live, of course, outside, you'll be able to do that. That's most of those fans have to stay outside to just create that atmosphere for them to enjoy the person they've been looking forward to see in a very, very long time. Ken, I mean, it's a thing of joy, when things like this happen, when you see fans, actually putting their money where their mouth is. I believe most of them must have saved maybe for 2 years to be able to make this because they just want to see Messi.
I hope some, maybe in the not too distant future, you know, Nigerians, and this is a reality, Nigerians, because when you are battling with, you know, a lot of things, you know, holidays are the last thing in your mind. When you're battling with basic, you know, amenities on how to survive. But over there, most of them don't have these challenges are not there. The basic things are there. You have your light, you have your water. When their politicians are campaigning, I'm sorry, they're not saying I'm going to give you roads. The roads are there. Then because I'm going to give you water, the water is there. Then because I'm going to give you light. You understand? So when you are contending with these, there is not enough for you to put behind for you to travel to go, for holidays. But when they are working, because they have the basics, they keep these things. So but that's save for 4 years to go and watch. They watch all their teams play away matches, and it is a culture. So until sometimes we should be able to imbibe that culture of not just watching our teams. Even the Shooting Stars fans, even Ibadan wouldn't want to pay to watch Shooting Stars. But the Manchester United fan is buying season ticket to keep the club together. So, but yeah, we want the government to run the club, we want the government to whatever, everything for free, and then the one that we can do, we cannot do it. So it is a culture that you will see them. It is a life thing. I'm going to the next World Cup. Okay, the next World Cup we stage in Mexico, USA, and Canada. People have already saving for that. To say, if I cannot go to Qatar, I will go to that. So by then they would have known everything would have been done. So someday, when the challenges are not that of the basics of life, then we can now add that to say, okay, fine, let me move, let me travel out, I'll pay my ticket, go and get a ticket. You know how much it is now to go and get a ticket to, if you say you want to go to Qatar, how it is for the average Nigerian fan. Yeah.
It's a difficult thing, really. Governments, they know what to do. Just do the right thing, and then the people will be happy, and we can actually go see Cristiano Ronaldo play in the next World Cup. Okay, he's 37. Yeah, see that. Touchdown on the game between Netherlands and the USA. 3-1, it ended. Yes, it was supposed to be, the Giants and, of course, Goliath. And it was a bit close. Though the Americans, in terms of defending, you can ask yourself, how those guys, the central defenders, how were they put together? Because ball watching, not tracking down, not getting close to the opponent. I feel fine. It's a quarterfinal game. It's a last 16 game. It's a knockout stage. You're either going to go home or you progress. So they were playing at if, we still have one more game to play before the next day, that this wasn't a game they need to play and take their chances and have it. They lost the first 2 chances, and then that was it. Netherlands, of course, Daley Blind, and of course, Memphis Depay, they took over, and we had a good game. 3-1, the US at home.
The Dutch CC are the apostle of total football. It is a mystery that the Dutch has not won the World Cup.
Yes, it's hard.
3 finals.
Yeah, he's talking about 3 finals. Back-to-back 74, 78 finals, and then look at them, going to lose, losing to Spain. In 2010. If you think about coaches from Rhinos Michel, Frank Rijkaard, we've just talked about, we are seeing Van Gaal. This is his second missionary journey. He was one that even took in 2014. He was there. So they have an avalanche, Dick Advocaat, of great coaches. You understand? Great players. So you watch those 2 goals that they actually scored, and that people are saying that is going what the trend is going to look like now. You go out from the wing, and then instead of doing that cross in front of the defense, you cut back. Both goals were, almost like a mirror image of each other. So the Dutch always come with something new, something different, and that is what we are seeing here. For the US team, highly technical players, but that tactical discipline is what they lack. High pressing. They're one of the high. They and Canada. They have this young bloods and whatever it is that they want everyone. They want to attack 90 minutes. But football is not all about attack. You must have to maintain that discipline because if you do not consider this, you will not lose a game. And the Italians built on that is a rugged defense. If they score you 1 goal, they seal up. A la Mourinho, with an instrument called Mikel. So basically, that is what they experience that the U.S. team lacked. But they came up with that, I mean, that freshness, that is what attacking football, they would have lost, but they gave us something for us to, to remember.
I think United States were one of my favorites at the tournament. Before the tournament, I didn't really watch them play that much, but when they came to the tournament proper, I watched their game against England, and I was impressed. Like you said, they can run for 90 minutes. Young blood, you see McKennie, you see Timo Werner, you see Christian Pulisic. These guys were really, really impressive. But Sisi was really complaining about the fact that their defense line, like you allow them to stroll through. But like you aptly put it, when you're coming up against seasoned veterans, coming up against experience, like the Dutch team, you find it very difficult to hold them for too long, especially if you don't have the tactical and technical know-how on how to hold them back. And then also, yes, you could say one or two rookie mistakes that they made that led to the goals they conceded. So you really cannot blame the female team for wanting equal pay with the men, because after all, that's the reason why they've gone to multiple World Cups, and see the U.S. female team the women's team doing really, really well at the World Cup. But look on the bright side, they will be hosting or part of the host for the next World Cup, and then I think a large chunk of these players, if they are fit, will still play, and hopefully we can see more better outing from them.
All right, let's listen to the U.S. fans. Of course, Netherlands fans are both kind of proud. I mean, it's a young team. You just have one player that have been to the World Cup before. The others haven't been to this World Cup. So most of the fans are actually looking forward to 2026.
No, they play very well. They play very well. Actually, the US team played very well, I have to say. It was an exciting game. We enjoyed watching it.
Atmosphere was really good, and the USA played really well. So I feel sorry for them, but I'm glad Netherlands won.
Go, no matter what, baby. We're cheering for you, USA, baby. Don't worry about it. Keep your heads up, baby. Let's go.
You know, I still feel very proud of our team. We weren't supposed to make it to this round, and so I'm just excited. I'm happy for them. You know, they played their hearts out. They never gave up. They fought the whole match, and so hey. You know, 2026, hopefully they're in Levi Stadium, Bay Area, so we'll see them there. So I'm really proud of them.
You know, it was an incredible game. You know, I obviously wish the U.S. had won, but I think they did very well for being a young team, for just getting back into, you know, the World Cup this year, and I look forward to watching them in the future.
All right, Sunday Lise cannot join us on the show today. Hopefully, maybe next Sunday he should be able to join us. He will be in charge of the game between France and Poland. So he's on his way to the stadium. That's the message just sent to us. He will not be able to join us. Hopefully, we can have him next time, of course, to have a comprehensive review of the games that will be going on at that time. Then to be closer to see the team. We'll see if African countries will still be there. But right now, let's take a look at, the performance of African teams so far before we talk about the games for today, especially with Senegal and Morocco making it. Morocco are not just making it into that round. The fact that they are into the round of 16 without losing a game. And this is a country before now, 18 matches they played at the World Cup. They've never beaten a European side. But hey, here you have Morocco. It's good. So in 2002, you have Senegal, South Africa, Cameroon, Nigeria, and Tunisia. Only Senegal qualified. That was just 20%. Okay, in 2006, Côte d'Ivoire, Angola, Ghana, Togo, and Tunisia, only Ghana qualified. Also 20%.
1/5.
Okay. In 2010, of course, you have South Africa, Nigeria, Algeria, Ghana, Cameroon, and Côte d'Ivoire. Only Ghana qualified.
More teams then.
More teams, it was. More teams, 6, because Africa was hosting. We had the opportunity to have 6. We could not even utilize that. Then in 2014, we had Cameroon, Côte d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana, and Algeria. Only Nigeria and Algeria qualified. That was 40%. 2018 was disastrous. Egypt, Morocco, Nigeria, South Africa, Tunisia, 0%. None made it past the group stage. Nigeria could have, all they needed to do
was beat who?
Just draw Argentina and you'll be, oh my God. But you have a coach who doesn't understand how to manage games. And of course, it's still very painful because that would have been it for Nigeria. Imagine beating Argentina and getting to the round of 16.
And playing France and getting.
Do you understand?
Yes.
It doesn't matter, even if you're going to lose the next. But the
at
fact
least
that
come out of the group stage. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? It would have been at least 20%, but then it was 0. And now, after that, they went back home and started thinking, what do we do? Do we rely on foreign coaches who can even take us elsewhere? Do we actually trust our homegrown coaches who maybe they've gone abroad, learned some trades, coming back to actually help to grow the team? Do we give them time, give them the financial support? Senegal did that. In 2015, they've had one coach in charge, and he's been with the players. And Senegal were not in 2018 World Cup.
Yeah.
Aliou Cissé, now he's been able to do something that most coaches haven't been able to do. He was captain in 2002. They lost in that quarterfinals. And now you have Tunisia, Senegal, Morocco, Cameroon, and Ghana making it to the World Cup. And of course, Senegal and Morocco qualified. That's 40%, just like you have in 2014, where Nigeria and Algeria, the two teams that are not there, they were the ones who qualified in 2014. Ken, over to you.
Yeah, from 0 to 40. I mean, okay. If you look at the three nations that will be hosting the next World Cup,
one is on the way home. The others are already home.
The others are already home. The next one, I think they booked their flight. They should have booked their flight by now, and also on their way home. So for Africa to have this. Are two teams. And most of the time, it's that if we enter that they might lead straight to quarterfinals. I see between Morocco and Senegal, one of them progressing either to the quarterfinals or semi-finals and whatever it is. I think I'm saying it. Before we come back by Sunday, by His grace, we're talking about the semi-finals. You understand? So, and I believe that, yes, one of those two teams we'll still be talking about them being in the competition by then. Can you imagine without Sadio Mane what the Senegalese are doing? And say, look, forget this FIFA. Let's come together as a team. The much maligned Koulibaly, coming to lead the team. Yes. We saw what Vincent Abubakar did with Cameroon. He went out, coming to lead with the team. We have leaders with character. We have Stephen Okeshis being replicated. The Aliou Cissés themselves being replicated, and that is what Africa needs. African coaches coaching African teams and then moving on, and that is this is good for Africa. Yes. And I hope that we shall build on this.
Yeah, you look at Walid and you look at Cissé. I mean, these two coaches, Walid, for instance, he won the CAF Champions League. Yes. I mean, it was appointed in August. Yes, Cissé has been.
They were all pointing, all of them, the same thing. So we say Nigeria, you start to roll. This when was this Moroccan coach appointed? When was even the Ghana coach that qualified for the World Cup appointed? And you understand, Ghana even did incredibly well. Even for the last game, if Ayu has scored that particular penalty, yes. I mean, it would have been a different ball game entirely.
And it just turned out to be the day that Luis Suarez decided to play football at the tournament.
But I'm sorry to say the time when both of them
are home.
They went back because that it was from 2010 to now.
It's painful. Do you know what it means for you to labor in vain? You labored, you did everything you could. But at the end of the day, you're going home. Uruguay did that. I mean, my heart really breaks for them. It didn't break for Ghana, but it breaks for Uruguay.
My heart healed for Ghana.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the fixtures for today. Poland and France will be in action. That game will be 4 p.m. Before you have Senegal and England. Of course, we'll start with the game between Poland and France. The French team, of course, before the World Cup years, plethora injuries happen. But at the end of the day, they've been able to pick up. Yes. But that loss to Tunisia, I guess, they're still being pained by that. But they're going to be facing Poland, who were very underwhelming against Argentina. But Lewandowski, of course, finally got his first goal at the World Cup. But at the end of the day, today, we're going to be seeing what Lewandowski can bring to the party. Because if you look at the Polish national team, you have a star player. You look at the French national team, you have star players. Good. That's the difference.
I think if you're able to get star players to come together and play as a unit, they're almost unstoppable. We mentioned it last week. I don't think, for me, I don't think anybody has the backline that France has. Talking about their first their centre-back pairing at the back, both first and second, you really cannot take it away from them. So I think in being trying to nullify Lewandowski should not be a problem today for France. And if France should come together and play as a team, Poland, you talked about the fact that they've been underwhelming so far at the tournament. I think France will overwhelm them. With Kylian Mbappe and his burst of pace, Ousmane Dembele and his trickery, and Olivier Giroud, and the fact that he just knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. Someone I'm really happy for, again, because at the last World Cup that they won, he did not score a single goal. But I think, yes, with Benzema's injuries and him now stepping up, he's getting his flowers and the recognition that he deserves. I think he's now on par with Thierry Henry and a record goal scorer for France. A Giroud that a lot of players, a lot of fans really have talked down on for so many years, but he just keeps on going and at his pace, taking everybody by, getting the job done, and so far so good. It's been very impressive. I don't think Poland can do anything to stop France from moving on to the next round.
Yeah, Antoine Griezmann, I mean, he's on this tournament, and I mean, he's been fantastic. I mean, he hasn't had a fantastic season, but at the World Cup, we've seen someone really different. He mentioned, of course, Olivier Giroud. Yes, at that last World Cup, he didn't score, but he was instrumental because of the key role he played for the team. People saw Mbappe, people saw Griezmann, and of course Paul Pogba. But Olivier Giroud had a fantastic role that he played for the team. But now he's the one doing most of the scoring. Of course, Kylian Mbappe is unplayable right now.
That is going back again. That is exactly what we say. When a coach has confidence in you, you are bound to repay.
Yes.
It was, like I said, I don't want to say much maligned, because in the last World Cup, Giroud didn't score.
A striker that did not score goals. Yeah.
But then your job is not just to score a goal. Your off the ball runs, your assists, your tackles. You draw players away. A lot of things you are doing. Your movement is contributing, to your team scoring. Those are the basic things. So Antoine Griezmann, you might say, he's not having a sparkling season. He's not, banging in the goals. His movement back, from Barcelona back to Atletico Madrid and all that, he must have, unsettled him and stuff. But the coach knows his team. If whatever you're doing outside is different than what I want to do here. So when you have that synergy within the team, that is what makes it. In 2010, they were having issues in the team. They were having issues with the federation, and then it kind of backfired. Yeah. But you saw them in 2018 come together as a team. You are seeing them being a unit now. So with France doing this, in their last game against Tunisia, for goodness sake, they dropped 9 players from their starting 11.
Yeah, so, but those players came up later to play, but they couldn't score. We need to go on a break. When we come, of course, Theo will be giving space for, him. He'll join us after this break.
Our website, channelstv.com, has more information on our top stories and others. Subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser. Or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Channels Television, ubiquitous.
Welcome back. Jimmy is here in the studio. Jimmy Cattle, how you doing?
Yeah, very pleasure to be here, and I think it's great having Ken here. You know, having him right there, not here. It makes a whole lot of difference, you know. Beyond being over there, now he's here, but he's not here, he's there. And being on the hot seat, it makes a whole lot of difference. Jimmy. Great to have him back, yeah.
Yeah, actually great to have him back. All right, now let's move quickly. I mean, Senegal and England today. I mean, this game we'll be looking forward to. These players, they know each other.
Well, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I actually did predict that Senegal would make it to the, you know, the knockout stages, and also Cameroon. Although I felt, you know, the way they could have done a lot more better, but they did themselves in the first game. Okay. But playing against England, when you look at the plethora of talent that the English have got against the Senegalese that may not have had, you know, the luxury of having the star player Sadio Mane. Although I felt that they actually were able to express themselves better at the point in time, but I would think that the English should have much more for the Senegalese. I mean, the African contingent to the World Cup, they have been very, very impressive. Morocco leading the light, also Senegal. But at this point in time, I think that the English may have much to, you know, just too much for them to be able to contend with. I think the Senegalese will not be able to contend with the English.
Interesting. Let's listen to Gareth Southgate, what he had to say concerning the Senegalese team.
Yeah, we've been very impressed. We know that they're African champions, very proud, great competitive spirit, a lot of belief in the team, some excellent individual players who can cause problems, but a good structure to the team as well. So I think Aliou has done a fantastic job. They were very unlucky not to qualify from the group in Russia, and you know, they've deservedly done it this time. So we know exactly the size of the task ahead of us. And of course, we've had a number of Senegalese players down the years, from Patrick Vieira to El Hadj Diouf, and now, of course, the coach. And now the players that are playing in England now, both in the Premier League, and some guys that are in the Championship but are really Premier League players.
My foot feels fine, no problem at all. Obviously had that knock in the first game, but yeah, it's been getting better and better day by day, and yeah, in a place now where I almost don't feel it at all, so that's great. And no, form-wise, you know, I feel like I've been playing well. I'm a calm individual, and you know, I always try and focus on the team and doing my best for the team, and I feel like I can do that in many ways, as I've said before. So I'll continue to try and do that. If the goals come, then great. It means that it'll give us a better chance of winning the game. And as a striker, I always want to be scoring goals for sure. So I would love to be sitting here with 2 or 3 goals now, and for sure. But I think the group stage has gone well. I think minutes-wise, it's not been too tough. You know, the games hasn't been really physical when you look at the numbers when we break it down. So I mean, going into the knockout stage, I feel really good. I feel yeah, fit and sharp.
Harry Kane, I mean, he's got the boys that are scoring the goals. Rashford is scoring, Phil Foden is scoring, Bukayo Saka is also scoring goals. So no problem for him at all. He doesn't have to carry the whole of England on his shoulders. But then the Senegalese team don't have that luxury because Sadio Mane is not here. But I mean, what we're going to look forward to quickly, Ken, is on the coach, Aliou Cisse. I mean, reports says that, I mean, the assistant coach actually confirmed when he anchored the press conference, when he was the one at the press conference yesterday, he said that Aliou Cisse has been ill for a while, so he may not just be, you know, on the bench today, tonight, precisely. But then if that happens, will they really miss him? I mean,
they should just send some Agbo to him. I mean, the guy is African.
Is it Agbo or Agbo? Because Agbo.
Agbo. And they would have just sent some Agbo.
Better.
But he needs it. He needs Katochi to ginger him.
Yeah.
I would like to see him right there. I'm missing their superstar. Even I'm progressing. I mean, it will also. The thing is about stories. This work is about stories.
Yeah.
Okay, but without Sadio Mane, they got to this level. Yeah. Okay, without their coach, Tyson takes them to the next level.
Definitely.
So basically, that is what this thing. You don't pen these things in Hollywood. They just come out there. So I want to say that with or without. Sometimes when I talk African teams, I don't use my head. I use my heart. It doesn't really matter who you are facing. It's like you are going for a war, and then you are looking. It doesn't matter how high you are. If it is for survival, you must do whatever it takes for you to survive. Whether you have the missiles, whether you don't have it, you go over there to do it. So this is a warfare. If Alice to say is sick and can't join the team, I still be like the troops will still go out there to do the battle.
It's about the synergy in the team.
Yeah, because the English team, they are now, they're one of the favorites to pick. If they continue the way they are, they're one of the favorites to pick this. But you are favorite until when you are knocked out.
Yeah, because if you check, if you check a game against USA, no matter how it was, they couldn't even score. It ended goalless. And check the Senegal.
They've not beaten USA in the World Cup.
They've not.
USA
they've been a bogey team for like forever.
The first ever shocker in world football happened in 1950, and it was the part-timers, the USA. Some of them were working in restaurants. Who just came in there to hammer those who
so the tradition continues.
It continues.
So the tradition continues. We can't use that to actually judge against Senegalese tonight because Idrissa.
Well, they've always been doing well against African opposition.
He's cup tied. He's not going to.
I don't think it has anything to do about the players themselves. It's actually about the English team playing against African opposition, where they almost have not lost, to African opposition, and this may just be that time that Senegal will fancy their chances. But
the same way Brazil has not lost.
That's what you said it now. It's about stories now. Stories are meant to be rewritten.
Exactly.
There are stories that are told,
and we want it to be rewritten in our favor.
Definitely.
So we want stories to be told. So these are the stories we can tell our children.
Definitely. But I also feel that a lot of English, English club supporters would like that, the players to do well. But I think we are more African. Those ones that will feel, I've got Saka, he's an Arsenal player. I've got... for me, I think it's more about Africa at this point in time. It's more about Africa.
It's about Africa. They are representing us. when England is not playing against African team, I want Saka to score 10 goals. But when they are playing against African team, let him be hitting the bar.
So watch out for Ismail Assar. Who's going to be the match winner tonight? Will he be from? If Senegal is going to win, who will be the match winner? Ismail Assar or Koulibaly will just continue the role he's been playing?
I think Koulibaly has been a very fantastic leader in the pack, and I just don't know. I don't think the Senegalese have got it in them to defeat the English. They've got more going for them in terms of tradition. They've got more going for them in terms of man management by Gareth Southgate. Because you look at it, Maguire, a lot of complaints about him playing for United. He now comes to the English setup. He's doing fantastically well, playing alongside Stones. And these are some of the things that you like to talk about when you look at the total synergy that the team has got. I think the English, they really, really have it on the bench, on the field, even with the coach. He's very experienced. He's seen it all, done it all. They've been to, knockout stages. They know how to operate at that level. That's why I feel the wheat is being separated from the chaff. We know that there were a lot of offsets in the group stages. But right now, we are beginning to see the boys separated from the men. And naturally, I would think that the English should have this.
They are the men.
We saw Argentina breathe yesterday.
But at the end of the day, they scaled through. And I think that's the most important thing. France struggled against Australia.
Good win, but better than the net. We saw them started breathing. When the second, in fact, when their keeper made that save, they fell in love with him right there on the pitch, and they were hugging him.
What was Messi doing? He was panting.
Messi didn't play like a 25. He played like a 25-year-old.
Definitely,
it was on fire yesterday. There was one movement he made in that when he packed when he packed.
And without any doubt, Messi has been better than Ronaldo in this particular competition.
Okay.
Coming from a Ronaldo guy.
No debate today. Thank you so much. We're having fun, but we have to get out of the studio. Ken, you're not dropping your pen today. You drop it next Sunday when you're here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a pleasure. It's good to actually have you back. So welcome back.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys have done a great job.
All right.
And what else to add? And it's the team. It has to do with the team.
So the paper has been passed over to you. Well, Jimmy, thank you so much.
Let's keep having fun. It's Qatar 2022. It couldn't be better than this.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a fantastic week ahead.